Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday to everyone who is joining us. Today, we are going to be making a camping wreath. I have been waiting for someone to come up with the perfect sign because I've had some embellishments for a camping wreath for a while. So I was just like waiting. Sometimes you find things and you just wait. I've been waiting for, how many years is that? 2019? 3 years. 3 years to put this wreath together. So the sign is a 10 by 10. It says campers have s'more fun. That is from Craft Outlet. You can pick that up at craftoutlet.com. We're putting it on a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame, like is standard for most of the time. I'm doing all brown on this one, and you'll see why when I show you the mesh. So we're going to go ahead and wire this up, but before we do, just a reminder, with Facebook making so many changes, they're upgrading and moving things around. A lot of times you may not be getting notified when we go live. So if you can, while you're on the live with us today, if you can click the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, just verify that your notifications are turned on. If they are, it's good, it's great, you don't have to do anything. If they are not, you can go ahead and toggle that switch on, and you might want to do that for anybody else that you might not be getting notifications on, because that's generally what happens, is things kind of go back to a default setting. So just double check your settings on that. Also,
thanks for sharing.
Yeah, happy Palm Sunday. So we will not be live next week, Friday or Sunday, for Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday. So we will be taking that time off and spending it with family, as I'm sure you guys are going to be as well. So we're going to try to get as much stuff done as we can this week to make sure you guys feel as creatively inspired as you possibly can. If you're new here today, please let us know also where you're from so we can welcome you. And let's get started. So I'm just using brown pipe cleaners. We're going to go ahead and we're going to wire together our 2 inside rings using our welds as a determining factor of where middle is. Trying to keep them as even as possible. Then we're going to do the 2 outside rings using that weld in that center one to kind of come up with a midway point, just like that. And one more here. We'll go ahead and twist that on. This gives you 6 pipe cleaners on the inside, 12 to the outside, for a grand total of 18. We will be removing, I would say I will be removing the 6 inside ones because our sign is, it's going to take up a lot of real estate, plus our bow and then our embellishments. So we are doing the ruffle technique. Why? Because I want to have room for my bow, I want to have room for my sign, and I need to have room for my embellishments, and I don't want to fight the mesh to try to get things to lay perfectly. So a ruffle base method will give you a full flat design to work off of, and so that's what we're going to be doing today. We are doing a brown, what's called border mesh. So what border mesh is basically value mesh in the center with emphasis on just the outside pieces. And as you guys know, with ruffle technique, really what you're focusing on is the outside edges. So we're just going to go ahead and gather these together. We're going to be laying these in every single one of the 18 pipe cleaners. We're doing finished edge to the inside and the outside. I always start with the middle inside one. That's just what I've been used to for so many years. We're going to give it a couple twists, and then I'm going to go ahead and remove the excess of my pipe cleaner. Right here. Snip that off. We'll just tuck that back down. And for me, it gives me the illusion of chocolate with the same colors of the crackling fire. So that's why I went with this choice. These are cut again to 20-inch pieces. With this particular type of deco mesh, you can cut it with your wood burning tool. You'll just want to make sure you stay in the columns, and that will help reduce the amount of fraying that happens on your wreath. You should pretty much have 0 fraying. Okay, we're just going to put these all the way around. And then our middle one kind of serves as a buffer to fill the space between the 2 outside ones. So then this also helps fill the gap in the center. Okay, we're just going to go and do this all the way around. If you like this design and you want to replicate it, do me a favor and click the share button below. That'll share this to your page. And then when you have all your materials ready, you have your tutorial ready to go, and then you can put one together. I think we were talking about who would benefit from a wreath like this, and we said, what did we come up with? What did we say?
Well, obviously summer camp places like
summer camps.
YMCA.
Right. YMCA, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I was saying like national parks, how you have the little souvenir gift shops. It would look cute in there.
Even anybody who just has a summer cabin.
Yes. Definitely mountain cabin. I was like Airbnb. Because when you think camping, how do you not think s'mores? That's just like hand in hand with whatever you're barbecuing. S'mores is like the camping dessert. We have a talker today. Where am I at? Let me get on my page. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and tuck this down, which is also some great keywords to use when you're creating a camping wreath. You know, think about people who would benefit from it. A lot of people who have getting ready now for summer because people are making their summer vacation plans. Anyone who has an Airbnb where they might have like a s'mores bar, a barn that does barn weddings would be cute.
There's even a lot, like RVers who probably like that.
That's what I had is RVers or people who had trailers would be super cute. Just had a little punch of decor for your RV. Okay, so we're just going to pull those to the side. What do you guys think of the mesh? Do you think that this is a good match?
Yeah, to me, all like the gold and the copper and the bronze
Feels
like
fall.
fire.
Yeah, it feels very fallish for me.
Catherine Barker said, "Oh, first time catching you live. What city and state you from, Catherine?"
Welcome, Catherine. We love having you here. Like Steve says, where are you from?
I said I'm one of the few who does not like s'mores.
Really? I don't.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't like the whole toasted marshmallow thing, but I like all the ingredients. I'll eat all this stuff, like not like a s'more thing, but I might heat the marshmallow till it's just gooey enough, and then just eat the marshmallow with the chocolate with the graham crackers.
Linda asked, is fabric mesh more pliable for ruffles than heavy foil deco mesh?
It depends, because
She's currently making a wreath with heavy foil deco mesh, and it's hard to ruffle. Even though I would burn it, it's still...
I would say it would depend on the quality, because there is some heavy foil deco mesh that has a real thick polypropylene, the plastic part, to your deco mesh, and that might make it challenging. Fabric meshes are generally more soft, but they can also be thin. Depends on who you get those from as well. So you kind of have to be cautious on both sides. There's good and bads.
This is family cookouts, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Summer barbecues.
Vivian says, love that mesh.
It's so pretty.
Vicky says she has that mesh in her stash.
I had this mesh in my stash too, and I was like, when I pulled up the sign, when I saw the sign, I was like, okay, I already know the whole theme around this one. So I picked it up when I first saw it. It was one of the new things that Craft Outlet had just got in.
The sign's from Craft Outlet.
Sign is from Craft Outlet. It's a 10 by 10. I just love the graphics on it. I like the fact that it's not a shiny sign, it's a flat sign. And I just like how it was so put together.
Yeah, I'll just throw it in. Guys and gals.
We've been outside doing yard work all day, trying to get ready for what we know is going to be coming. The whole summer temperatures out here in the desert, so we always try to take advantage of those days when the temperatures are pretty mild. But we're supposed to have high winds. I think they said like 50-mile-an-hour winds, which is crazy. Starting tomorrow. So small wind event for us. Love this color. Even though the sign isn't brown, it's kind of a black wash. Okay. There's that.
Catherine is from South Carolina.
Cindy asked, can you see the sign? Absolutely. Here's the sign, because it is kind of slightly cut off. So it says campers have s'more fun. Super cute. And then Linda had asked, are we taking Easter Sunday off? The answer is yes.
Yes.
We will not be live next week, Friday or Sunday. We're going to try to make our Good Friday service and then Easter service as well. So even though those will be early, we're hoping to do some stuff with family. All the traditional stuff. I mean, our kids are grown, so we don't do the whole Easter basket thing, but it'll just be nice to kind of get in touch with family. I'm going to grab this one because it's tucked too far back. Pull it forward. And this one's tucked under. Pull it out. So chocolatey. Looks like Hershey's Special Dark Chocolate. I was thinking about putting little miniature Hershey bars in here. Like the little miniatures. That would be a cute embellishment. But you'd have to be really specific. Not intended for eating. It's just decoration only. But it would be cute.
See, all the meshes cut to 20 inches.
Mm-hmm. Yep. With the wood burning tool just to help keep those sprays at bay. I actually had to go for this ribbon. I had to go pull out my some fall mesh to find the right colors for this, because I wanted stuff that was a little bit deeper, like not pastel orange, not summer orange, but like a fall orange.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I love this color, and that's exactly what border mesh does. It's all about the edges. So if you're ever curious, like why would anyone want that particular type of mesh? It's only on the edges. It's specifically designed for ruffle technique to give you that punch of color on the outside, all the edges. Oh, okay. I'm looking. Okay. Just making sure. Between you and I, we're trying to get to most of the questions.
Yeah.
Because I see other people are even answering as people are coming in. How long is the mesh cut? 20 inches. This, and the deco mesh is from Craft Outlet. The sign that we're using is from Craft Outlet as well.
Charlotte said she's been having high winds up in North Texas.
Wow. Summer is coming. Rapidly entering mid-April. I hate mid-April because it's tax time. Right? Next week. Is it right? Yeah, next week. Taxes are due. Ugh. Not a happy fun time. So by cutting your deco mash to 20-inch pieces on a full 30-foot or 10-yard roll, you should get exactly 18 pieces, which means no leftovers, which is always so good to have.
Betty, no, we haven't sold our house. We are looking to move. We're just not sure when.
Yeah.
Or where.
Right? It's like we know where we would like to move, but then you have to go with what can you afford to spend.
Yeah, I mean, real estate prices are just so high. I don't think it's a good time to buy.
Not yet. Not until we're sure, like 100% that we absolutely love it. And everything changes. That's the thing. You could totally love your neighborhood and love everything about your house, and then everything changes. Your neighbors move away. Everybody sells their house. Rental companies buy it up.
I said you could eat the chocolate and just use the wrapper.
Right? That would be cute. You could definitely do that. That would prevent anything from happening, like somebody forgetting that there's real chocolate on the wreath as an embellishment and storing it away someplace. That is a really good idea.
Linda, the winds blow out here we could probably gust up to probably 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Most of the time it's 40, 50, and they're just gusts. It's windy, but it's the gusts.
It could be pretty good. We've lost some major limbs on our willow tree, and
and then Claire said my other idea of rough camping is not having cable, so we put a satellite on our motorhome.
Oh, there you go. Okay, look how gorgeous that is. That is our entire base for this. And let me show you guys again. I think you should be able to see the sign. That's the sign that's going to go on our wreath. So we're going to come in and we're going to add in our ribbon tails, which are these two colors, which is like a fall plaid. It's got a little bit of metallic to it. And then we're just going to do a flat orange. The flat orange, 2.5 inches, will be cut to 14-inch pieces. That orange came from Kringle Designs. And then same with this, 2.5-inch pieces cut to 14-inch lengths. This was from Michael's. So let's grab all of these. Let me grab my 1.5 and pull those off.
Do we all lose power a lot? No, we rarely lose power.
Nope. We're just used to high winds here. Okay, so I fold it in the middle so we can always find our exact middle. That way our bow is the same length on both sides. So I like how that's looking. We are going to alternate that with our plaid. So all the way around the outside. Just kind of pinch and gather. Find your pipe cleaners, because that brown is a little hard to see. 2 good twists, and then just fan those to the outside, just like that.
Nancy asked, when you do the wood burning method, what tip do you use? I have a wood burner with a few tips, not sure which one is the best.
The one that looks like a knife.
It's a chisel tip, I think.
Yeah, it's got a little bit, like, it actually looks like the end of the ribbon. So, it doesn't come to a point. It just looks like the side of the tail. No, not like a point. It's got like that angled edge on it.
It's an angle, but it comes to a point.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like a ball point pin. it's...
But it does look like one of the
tails. Yeah, like if you cut it off. Right. It kind of looks like a little knife blade. Okay. So go around, add all these in. Couple twists.
The orange ribbon is so bright it pops against the mesh, Sharon said.
Yeah. So we're trying to like think, okay, so like your typical colors of fire would be like orange, red. I was going to do yellow just because sometimes there's that yellow part of the flame initially, but it just looked so out of place in this design that I chose to push the yellow completely out of the whole design. So
I like how you're putting it kind of under the other ribbon.
Which
subdues a little bit.
Which one?
The plaid ribbon.
Oh, I wasn't. I just haven't pulled it out because I was gonna wait till I put the.
Kathy said, "Love the look of the mesh on the wreath." Clara said, "I was born and raised in San Bernardino until I was 15 and visited forever. And then those Santa Ana winds were awful." Yes.
Yes, they are. They're horrible for allergies. So it'll be time to take all the allergy meds starting tomorrow.
Right, Charlene? She said, the orange ribbon looks like the fire in the sun.
It does. Okay. So you could even market this as a fall wreath if you wanted. Like if you were picking a specific season, definitely summer and fall. Even though some people might even do this all the way through winter. I see it more as a summer and fall wreath. Okay. That's what's interesting is you haven't even seen the color ribbons I picked for this. Steve was initially working in the yard, running errands to get all the mulch so we could do our best to conserve water here in California. So upgrading the mulch should keep the water from evaporating too quickly here.
Sharon said the pollen count in north New Jersey was very high the last couple of days. Yeah, that's what kills Kathy.
Oh yeah.
Pollen.
It's like part of me didn't even want to go out, and then of course, you know, we're pulling out old lavender bushes that are getting overrun by our honeysuckle. So I just know for a fact I will be paying for it later.
The honeysuckle is literally growing like 4 feet off of our fence.
Oh yeah. We'll be cutting that back. Hopefully before we're waiting for the honeysuckle to bloom to make our bees and hummingbirds happy, and then in the fall we will drastically cut it back so it can come back in the spring. Because right now, yeah, it is 4 feet off our fence into the garden. Let's pull you up. Okay. So sometimes when you can't get your deco mesh to lay based on ruffles, a lot of times it's just where that end piece is kind of coming into play. Like you have all these in the way. And it's kind of pushing. Let's pull this down. There we go. Now to lay. There we go. Okay, the 1.5 inch pieces that I have are this ombre, which is a gold, orange, and brown. That's going to go in our orange. And then we have a flat red, orange, and tan, and that's going to go on our fall plaid. They're both cut to 19-inch pieces. The tri-colored ribbon is from Kringle Designs. And then this ombre colored is from Hobby Lobby during the fall. This is their fall ribbon that comes out. So we're just going to do half bows, which is just bring your wired edges together You're going to go up about 2 inches. You're going to pinch in. Remember, this is going on our plaid. We will give it a couple twists. Go ahead and snip that off. We'll take that little excess, tuck that completely behind the ribbon, and then open up your ribbon loop. You have to be careful on this one because it is stitched in 3 different places and you don't want to tear it, but you need to open that up.
This is such a unique but fun wreath. Thanks for doing something different.
You're welcome. That's the whole thing. Sometimes you want something different. You don't want to be like, ugh, how many more butterflies, ladybugs are we gonna do? And I'm like, oh, when I saw this, I was like, done.
And that's how your stepmom's doing. She's doing much better.
She's still in her rehabilitation. Originally, they had thought that she was gonna be home by Easter. But my dad doesn't think that that's going to happen. She has to be, in order for them to release her, she has to be pretty much self-sufficient. She has to be able to walk on her own. And her lifestyle before this was very inactive.
Sedentary, yeah.
Yeah, she did not, like from the time she would wake up, she would stay on the couch until it was time to go to bed. Really only getting up to, you know, use the restroom. So that kind of has led to where she's at today. So they're hoping they can get her up and moving.
Sharon, this isn't really a, I mean, I guess you could kind of consider it a fall wreath, but it's more
summer.
Campfire.
More summer.
Wreath, yeah.
Yeah. That's the way I took it is, you know, summer, like for us, was always family vacations. Whether we went camping or we would take a trip to the lake. You know, there was some point in that summer vacation where we would make s'mores. I have tried the roasted marshmallows, but I don't like them at all. But I'll eat the regular marshmallows. Okay, so I'll make sure this one fans out. This way you're seeing all those different colors that we're putting in. And when I'm doing the ombre, I'm kind of putting it, there's a way that it's more orange at the top or more brown, and I'm doing it the more brown for the center of our orange one. This one's kind of squished in there right now.
Her mom's in the same boat. Well, we're praying for you, Carol, and your mom.
I heard somebody, I want to say it was from Rachel Hollis. She's like a motivational speaker. She was saying a lot of the things that we do in our life is either going to benefit or hurt our future self. So the choices we make today are either going to benefit us long term or they're not. They're going to be harmful for our future self. So I think in those cases, like where my stepmom is at, the choices that she's made to be as inactive as possible have kind of led to where she's at now. So she's going to have to get active. But man, when you're like 80 years old and you're in a lot of pain, I can understand you don't want to be very active.
Yeah, she's in a lot of pain from cancer.
Yeah, she has cancer. She has COPD. So we're just kind of hoping for more time. That's what I think most of us want. We're not ready to say goodbye yet. We'll keep that one in there. What do you guys think of the ribbon choices? Those are always a challenge when you're picking. You're like, do you want to stay sparkly? Do you want to stay glittery? Do you want to go more flat? Do you want to go more towards the sign colors? And I haven't found a specific ribbon that is specific for camping that, say, has little campfires on it or little s'mores. At least not that I have seen. Okay. Turn this one around. Let's grab this one because it's biting. Put that in. Flip this down so these will lay better. There we go. Now they're happy. I'm trying to keep them all going the same direction, which is red to the right. I think I've done it. Oh, Peggy says right now I can't get past it looking like a fall wreath. Exactly. Because it's fall colors. But I love fall colors. But just think campfire, Peggy. Campfire. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to look like a campfire. Like camping.
Yeah, so the ribbons are beautiful. Brings everything together. Yep.
This one's just a weird color right here.
Now it's really hard saying goodbye to your mom. My mom just passed away 2 weeks ago. Oh, Deborah, I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry for that. I think the loss of our parents is sobering for us as kids. Yeah. It reminds us that we're not going to last forever. I mean, we'll see them again, but the life that we have here, you can't just pick up the phone and call when holidays roll around. You know, where you were used to getting together, all that changes.
Yeah, it's been really tough.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's been a couple times that I've thought about, you know, telling Steve, why don't we call your parents? I'm like, oh, can't say that. So it's that sobering realization. Things have changed.
So all the 2.5-inch tails are 14 inches. And all the 1.5 are 19 inches.
Right. And I always get asked that question, why do you do 19 inches? And it's because I want my 1.5-inch ribbon to end at the same length the 2.5-inch ends. I want them to be the same. So, as you can see, when I fan these out, they are the same length, or just a touch longer than my 2.5-inch. And that's what I want. I want them to meet at the end. Okay.
Yeah, she sent 100 stars.
Thank you, Anna.
Crush for your stepmom.
I so appreciate Anna sends stars every time we're on. So the stars right now is those little, right next to your comment where you're dropping comments in, you see the little gold star. Each star's worth 1 cent. And so what we've been doing is using our stars for fundraising each month. And I think we're still toying with the notion. We're thinking autism because I think someone said that this is autism awareness.
Yeah, I think Kathy said this is autism month, awareness month.
Right. So we just got to look for
to find
the right kind of sponsor.
Yeah.
Right. You want one that's going to make sure that the majority of your donations go to the cause and not to the board of directors that sit on that cause. Behind. So whenever you're working with this tri-ribbon where it's stitched each time, you have to be really super careful because if you pull too hard, like to fluff the ends or even to pull these down, you could rip the stitching in between them. Last one, and then we'll make our bow, put our sign on, and then add some fun embellishments that I'm praying work based on the overall outcome. This wreath is going to have a total of 8 ribbons, 8 different ribbons in it. So right now we've done 4.
And Nancy said it's very hard to get used to loss. She lost her husband almost a year ago. And she still says from time to time, I gotta tell my honey that story, and then it hits her all over again.
Yes.
So,
Can't even imagine. Okay, so there's our base. It's all complete. We're gonna go ahead and make our ribbon. And the ribbon on this one, we're gonna use all 1.5 inches. We're gonna put away the 2.5 inch ribbon for this to keep it very small and allow us to introduce a bunch of different colors. Sometimes when you're using the border mesh, you get a little edge that kind of comes loose like this right here. You just pull on it and it just takes that edge back out.
Nancy said those ribbon cups are so cute. Those are the half bows, so those are the loops.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. We're going to grab our ribbon, and I think I have this set up the way I want it to be, but I think I'm going to change it. So let me show you what we're doing. We're doing solid brown. We're doing the ombre. We're doing orange. We're going to pop the fall plaid, but in 1.5 inches. We're going to add the red. And then we're going to do the brown. So what I might do is just mix these like this, and hoping that we can keep the colors going through the whole design. So we'll finish with the ombre.
Orange on the top.
You think I need orange on the top?
Because like it, on the campfire, right? The red is the kind of on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
So we've got to figure out where's our focal point, and I think it's on the fire in the sign, so I don't want to play with too much color to take that away. So we'll start with the red on the bottom. So let's go ahead and remove that folded edge. We're going to do a dovetail cut on here, which just means bring your folded wired edges together, folded, and you're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point, and then you get a really pretty finished look for a ribbon. So my formula for this, I'm going to scoot this down so you can actually see, is we're going to start with 10 inches. We're going to gather. I'm going to use the bow dabra. We're going to twist. That goes on the inside. We're going to flip this up and around, and we want a 5.5 inch loop, which means we have to bring our bow dabra back to the 10, stretch this out, and then make sure this is winding up right on our 5.5 inches. Okay, then you're just going to flip it again.
Yeah, yes, it happens. I just wrote that down. I take notes for everything.
Oh, so good.
I said it's turning out beautifully.
Okay, and then we're going out. We're going to end right there, 10 inches. I had thought about doing this one with all flat ribbon, but then I'm looking at the border mesh with all the metallics. I'm like, we have to put some metallics into the ribbon. Otherwise, it's going to look flat. So the red is from Craft Outlet. The ombre... the tri-colored one is from Crinkle Designs. And I've actually had this for a while, so I don't know if they have it anymore. It'll probably be out in the fall. So this one's going to be 9.5 inches. So right here, we're going to twist, place that inside. And we're going to make this one 5-inch loop. So back to the 10, stretch it out. Make sure you've got 5 inches. There we go. Do the same to the other side. You can need a little bit more. back to our 10 right there, and then back out to 9.5 inches. We'll do our finished dovetail look for that. Then our orange is from Old Time Pottery, believe it or not. Does Old Time Pottery even exist anymore? I think Steve picked this up when he was
North Carolina or South Carolina, Florida.
I don't know, but I mean, you can get it anywhere. Craft Outlet, just your standard orange is generally all purpose. That one's a sick tail, so let's make this one look a little bit better. Let's cut the tail end off. There we go. So we're going to go 9 inches. This way it's tying the red and the orange to the red and the orange here. And this one's going to be 4.5 inches. So always measure 4.5. Flip it around. I think that's about 4.5, but I always double check. Yep. And then 9 inches out. Making sure this is there. So I know a lot of you have been finding the ribbon at Sam's. Now a lot of people are looking for the patterns and pretty colors, but you know what? Don't sacrifice those solid colors. Because even when I was at Sam's, I was watching people gravitate towards all the pretty colors and patterns, and I'm like thinking, you're giving up some really good options, because yeah, it's great to put together a bow with all patterns and colors and prints, and I'm like, but it's nice when you can incorporate just some solids.
Base of this, so that's Old Time Pottery. Next,
Okay.
We still have Old Time Pottery here in Florida.
That's where you got it, was in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I have to update my list.
Just a question, babe.
Uh-huh.
Did you start with 1.5 inches on the bottom?
The whole bow is 1.5 inches.
The whole bow's 1.5 inches.
Yep. So this one's going to be 8.5 inches for our tail. And then the loop is still going to be 4.5. So because we did the orange at 4.5, we're just going to double check our measurement. Flip it over, pull, and then we need to make sure that the tail length is 8.5. Yeah, you didn't know?
I did look down on the bottom of all your notes that they're 1.5 inches.
Yeah. Well, because normally I always use 2.5 inch,
Yeah.
but I wanted to keep this bow a little bit more like right in where I want it to be. Okay, I'm praying that we have enough of the brown.
First, I wish they had spring and summer plaid like they make in fall colors.
Right? Okay, this one is going to be 8 inches. Twist. So now we're introducing that brown. It's the color of the wood. 4 inch. Let's just make sure. Need to pull that back. Up and around. The brown is from Craft Outlet as well. If you know me or in my group, I always highly suggest that every wreath maker keeps in their stash solid colors. Because a lot of times you might have the perfect design, but you're missing a ribbon. Supply chains, we don't know what that's going to look like. Here in another, I don't know, couple months, we might not have anything coming in.
Yeah, that's why you're able to really kind of score them at Sam's.
Yeah, but
Good.
solids are easy to work in with the pretty colors.
Yeah.
And then you can save and not have to use so much of all the pretty colors.
Yeah, well, Lisa, it's funny you mentioned that. Just got a lot of my solids there today.
Yes.
Yes, I was looking for all the pretty patterns, and I realized that all the solids they had ended up getting all solid colors.
That's exactly what I did. I got all solids. I got some that had just a touch of like a white pattern to it, but they were solids. And again, that's perfect complement to everything else. So the last ribbon is 7.5 inches for our tail length, and our loop length is 3.5 inches. This is where we're finishing that one up. Right at 3.5, and then stretch that out to 7.5. And I love this ribbon. It's always, Hobby Lobby always brings this out in the fall. It's nice because it's a full 30-foot roll. So I'm hoping they'll have this out. Oop. Okay. Now we're ready to secure our bow. We will fluff it. So we prep our pipe cleaner into a U. We're going to pick this up, and as we do, we're pinching down. We're compressing all that ribbon. And then you're just going to move your thumb and your index finger to allow you to slide that pipe cleaner in. You're going to hold it to the bottom, and then you're just going to twist your whole stack. Just like that. Then we're going to get our fluff board so we can fluff this. We are just using a 1.5 inch C-hook. We're going to slide that C-hook right onto your pipe cleaner. So sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling. Depends sometimes too how tight you get your pipe cleaner. And we're there. Up and over. It just keeps it from sliding completely off the board. And we start with the bottom and we separate loop from tail. Go to the other side and do the opposite. So tail is here, and we're going to move the loop all the way over. So the loops are directly across, tails are directly across. Then we're going to pull down the next ribbon. So we're doing that plaid. So loop is to the right, tail is to the left. Go back over to the other side. Our tail is going to go over here, and our loop goes here. This way, the colors are now alternating as we bring down each stack. So here we go back. I'm going to break up the solid group, so I'm going to pull these back to the same. Just whatever you do at the top, you also want to make sure you do at the bottom. So I'm going to pull this and this. Otherwise, it would just be all solid on one side and then all pattern on the other. So see how that mixes that up. Back over here. Back over here. And now we'll do the brown back over here. Okay. Brown back over here. And then we're going to move this. Going to pinch that. And slide that over. So now we're going to start to fluff. So we're going to pull the two up here, two up here. Okay. You can fluff this any which way you want. If you want some of your tails mixed in here or mixed in, you know, wherever you want, feel free as a designer to change it up based on what you like. So I like how the fall plaid comes between. So I'm going to pull that up between that. Let's pull this one. I'm going to go over here to this side. And I'm going to do the same over here. Pull this up. Okay, then we're going to pull our orange. Here's our orange over here. So that's even going between these two. Okay. I'm going to pull my red. Might want it over here, just like this red is falling in line here. Whatever you want. It's up to you. You may want to mix.
Always said the bow reminds me of a fire pit. How cool is that?
Right? Kind of does. I'm gonna actually pull this one a little bit more in here so it falls in between. So, just like that. And then if we want to put little arcs back in our ribbon, you just run them through your finger. This is going to make it look nice as it flows from the center out. So it's going to follow that shape all the way around. Grab this one. Pull those apart. There's our red. Let's pull it that way. There we go. Try not to get my...
Bows always look amazing.
Who?
Gloria said your bows always look amazing.
Your bows look amazing. Every picture you post, I'm like, oh my god, her bow looks like so precise. It's
Gloria
so
Brink.
good. Gloria Brink, yeah. I'm like, every single wreath you do, I'm like, oh my word. That's just one gorgeous bow. There we go. Okay, so there's the bow. This would make, the reason why I like using our fluff boards, number one is it's nice to do photos from, so that, like, I think this one's a little too long. I think that one's just way too long because this is coming out here. Let's trim this one down just a little. It seems a little long. There we go. That feels more natural. But this board is also really good for displaying a bow for a photo. Makes for a really nice backdrop. So we're going to pop this off, just following that back around like our sea hook does. Put this away. Okay, let's prep our sign. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Remove. I'm going to take all the stickers off. Should have done that earlier, but I didn't. There's that. And there we go. Now it's all prepped and ready. We're going to use our staple gun. We're going to go ahead and anchor these to the back using 1/4 inch staples. Any of the cats left? There's that. We're going to go ahead and twist that so that it doesn't pull out. Do the same here. We will twist those. Now that's all ready to go. Move this so our space is clear. Okay, here's our wreath. Here's how our sign's gonna go on. Just kind of like that. Isn't that pretty?
Gloria said, Steve, tell her thank you. I appreciate all her advice.
Who?
Gloria.
Oh, I know. She's so sweet.
She said she appreciates all your advice.
Okay, so this is where this is going to go. Here's our sign on our wreath. We will, let's see, kind of like this side for a bow. This is going to kind of come into play here, just like that. I want it up just a little high, like that. Doesn't that look pretty? Okay.
Dorothy, the sign is from Craft Outlet.
So I'm going to go ahead and anchor the sign. So I want to pull this down so that we can affix this right to our frame. So I'm just going to kind of take this. I'm going to push it down about as far as I want it to sit. And then once I do that, I know where to twist my pipe cleaner. Okay, we're going to go over to the other side. I'm going to make sure I pull this one forward. We're going to go right here. Oop, there's a perfect crossbar. So I'm going to make sure we go right in between that. Sometimes you just luck out that way. Okay. Nestle it down. And then we will pull our mesh around the outside. So this mesh I'm not going to worry about so much because that's where our bow is going to go. But I want to make sure that our pieces that we have around the outside here, that these are pulled forward. Sometimes they get kind of hung up, so that what it does when you have this happening around your sign, it kind of is feathering your edge. So we're just taking that fun little border and softening the edge that we see. Just like that. See, it just takes those straight, harsh lines and makes them disappear. I'll do the same right here so that we have that fun. And then this, I'm actually going to tuck below. Why? Because I need a home for my bow to sit flat. So I'm going to take this and tuck that in. Just like that. We might even need to adjust this, but now let's add our bow, which let me make sure we're gonna lay right in there. So it's gonna be a nice little addition. Trying not to impact any of the lettering, but I do need to hit it. I need to hit the frame. So I'm going to make sure just like that. And then make sure everything is all nice and pretty. See, sometimes this right here is going to get a little too wild because I want my ribbons to lay along the edge right here. Just like that. Okay, and then we'll fluff these up. There we have our
questions?
Bow. Okay, ready for some slight embellishment. I'm gonna go ahead and fix this up here because it looks kind of flat. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna make sure. Trying to find my edge. Sometimes the edge hides. There we go. And then we'll relay this. We've got one of the edges right there. Okay, on the outside. Outside. What do you think so far? Okay, so
Lots of likes, loves.
embellishments, right? We just have a couple. So I don't know how I'm gonna make these work. So I have a fun little felt campfire, which I felt needed to kind of go down in here like this, but not impact our sign, just like that. Or should we move this up so we have a little bit more room? What do you think?
Keep it on the bottom.
I'm just trying to make sure that we have our flame.
We could put them off to the bottom right.
The bottom right down here. I think it has to be in the middle. Like, see? I think it needs here. Like nestled in there. So we can wire that in. We also have these fun little foam pieces. So these are our marshmallows. We are going to add one to the center of our bow, and then we're going to add a couple to the outside, I think down here. I have 3. So one here, and I think...
Of course, it's pretty, looks amazing with these colors. Kathy said how cute the flame is.
Isn't that cute? So just like that is our fun little marshmallows. The whole kit, it was like this, it's called a felt. I got this at Target, like back in 2019. It was a felt campfire play set. So they give you like a fake hamburger, which I don't really see incorporating that because we're doing s'mores. This was supposed to be a hot dog, but I see it more like a canoe.
Yeah.
You know? And then this one, hard to believe, but it's supposed to be a piece of pie. I don't see it much
because it's like a graham cracker than a piece of pie.
But it's not. It says 1 hamburger, 1 hot dog, 3 logs, 1 pie, 1 campfire. So that's supposed to be the pie. And then these are the logs. So there are these, which are these little felt logs, which I think I might actually cut them in half and then put like one kind of here, but much smaller. So it's down here. So they're like little like that.
You could cut it in half and just put it right below the flame.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So we'll see what it looks like when we cut it.
Claire asked, where do you get the foam marshmallows?
You can get them on Amazon. They're a company called Darice. D-A-R-I-C-E. So Darice.
D-A-R?
Like da rice.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that. So I'm going to do one there. Okay, will you go in? I'm trying to stick them in. Like I wanted to do a little crisscross piece. I'll have to play with that one. So I wanted it out here. And then this one would kind of come out there. Now if I take this, let's just see what happens if we mush the mesh down so I can make like a little campfire.
Julie said that is so darn cute.
If we can do it like that. And then these are going to need to stick out. So they're going to have to get glued in so we can actually see that it's a campfire. I think that would work. So, logisticals, right? How do you make it all stay? Well,
Floral wire.
huh?
Floral wire.
Floral wire, yeah. Floral wire for the win on the flame. So, we're just gonna take 22 gauge floral wire. We're gonna pop that right through the back.
You probably glue the back down to the netting too, right? To the mesh.
You could, but I mean, aside from these are going to get glued in.
Yeah.
But I just need to get my fire in where the fire's going to go.
Fire.
Fire, right?
This wreath is on fire.
Right? So it needs to make sure that we're hitting the frame so that it's anchored. So I want it to go right between there. So So that's perfect. Okay, pull this out. Just like that. I'm going to keep my little marshmallow right there. This is actually going to go down under there. So lots of glue, because it's going to go down into the little pit right here where my finger is. So we're going to go, it's on high. So we're going to put lots of glue on the end, but also on the tip, just like that. It's like one big glue cigar. And then that's going to get twisted like that. There's one. We'll do the same with this one. So they're just felt pieces. So I'm going all the way around. This one's going to get pulled down and stuffed in here. Oop. There we go. Okay, we have our fire. Now let's glue our marshmallows in. Right along the edge. We're going to tuck one in here. And then we're going to tuck one in down here. And then we have our marshmallow inside.
Those are the hidden little gems or treasures.
Yes. People will be like, oh my God, look, there's little marshmallows in there. Yep. Just little marshmallow pieces. We're out of glue. Glue stick. Okay. We're going to tuck that right to the inside. And then we are done. And I still have 2 sticks. Rub it together and it made fire. Right? So that is this design done. There's not that many. Like, I looked up on Etsy camping wreaths. There is not that many, but I thought this would make a super fun design for someone who loves camping, lives for camping every year. And then you can rub our 2 sticks together and make our fire. So there we go. That one is down in the books. What do you guys think?
First, it's so cute. Reese, I love it. Give it lots of hearts.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for joining me. Private group, I will see you Monday and Tuesday this week. And then I won't see you guys until we come back after the Easter holiday. So enjoy time off with your family and friends. Take that time and really make it special and enjoyable, because we never know, how short our time here is with any one particular person. So let's not take that time for granted. I hope you guys enjoyed this design. I loved making it.
Just a question, will you maybe post like a premiere video from the past or something?
Yeah, I might do that. I might do a pre-recorded video. I just don't see a ton of people being around this weekend. I think everyone doing stuff with family.
But for new people who are coming in who've never seen it before, that'd be something.
I don't know. I have a really busy week ahead.
Well,
So
you guys are saying it's so stinking cute.
cool. I'm glad. I'm glad. All right, everyone. Have a rest of your week. Have an amazing week. And I will talk to everybody else very soon. Bye, everyone.